This opens tutorial 1, Viewing and Navigation. And in this tutorial, we're going to outline the basic viewing and navigating tools for MSMS. So to get started, let's launch MSMS. So to open an existing file, we're going to go to File and Open. And we're going to browse for the tutorial 1 folder. Okay, so we're just going to highlight the folder and click select. Do not open the contents of the folder and select the model that you want inside it because MSMS will not be able to read the model. So just to demonstrate, if we open this folder and select the human arm, we can see that in the MSMS model library, no model is found. This is because there are multiple files, these two files, that work in synergy to open this one file, the human arm. So what we would have to do is go back to the tutorial 1 folder, and we're just going to select it and open it. And we can see in the library the human arm is present. So we're going to click on it and open it. So this is the model that we're going to be viewing and navigating with. And if we want to open another model, we have to first close the current model that is open. It won't work if we just go to File and New Model. Okay, MSMS will not open another pop-up window. So there are multiple ways to view the model. We can either use the toolbar up here, or we can use the keyboard, and we can select components either in this window, which is the 3D window, or we can select them using the Model Explorer panel right here. So to rotate the model using the toolbar, we're going to click on this button, and then we're going to click on the corresponding arrow buttons. Okay, and if we just hover over the arrow buttons, we can see the shortcut if we use the keyboard. So to rotate left, it'll be Alt left arrow. So to activate the 3D window, we have to first click the mouse inside of the 3D window, and then we can go Alt left button or right button. Okay. And to translate the model, we would do the same thing, except we'll click this button right here. So now we can translate the model up or down. And if we just hover over the arrow buttons, it'll tell you the shortcut using the keyboard. And again, we have to select and activate the 3D window and then shift left or right or down or up. Okay, to zoom, we can use the toolbar functions up here. We can zoom in or we can zoom out. And we can also use the keyboard. We just have to activate the 3D window again. And if we click I and hold I, it'll zoom in. If we click O and hold O, it'll zoom out. And we can also use the middle mouse button. We just can scroll up or scroll down and it'll zoom in or zoom out. Okay. So let's just recenter the model. And we can also hide components by going to Model, and we can select which component we want to hide. So say we want to hide all of the segments. Now we can just see the muscles and the wrapping objects present, but we don't see the segments. But what if we want to just hide the body but keep the arm? So let's unhide it. We would have to first go to the body image. So we're going to double click on this image. And the properties for SimGround will pop up. We're going to go to image and we're going to uncheck this visible box. And then they'll disappear and we can just see the arm. Okay, but we'll just leave it there. I'm going to say okay. So we can also view and edit the properties of each component, either interactively in the 3D window or using the Model Explorer panel. So for example, we're going to double click on the right hand in the 3D window. And the properties for right hand pops up. We can edit the image of the right hand using the image tab. This is only going to edit the image. And we're going to click and highlight on the image and we're going to click edit. And we can select these tabs and change the position, either translate it to a different location, or we can rotate it about different axes, and we can click apply or cancel or OK. And we can also use the other tabs to edit the properties of the right hand. Okay, but we're going to leave it as defaulted, and we're going to say cancel. And we can also zoom in, and we're going to select a muscle in the 3D window. And we're going to click on one of the constraint points. And we can see that the arrow cursor turned into a plus sign. So if we select on this point, we can now click on it and drag it to a new location, or we can use the arrow keys to move it up and down or to whatever direction we want it to go. Or we can also use the X, Y, and Z keys to move it about the axes. And to go in the reverse direction, we just need to click Shift X or Shift Y or Shift Z, right? And now let's select a wrapping object. I'm going to zoom out and just, whoops. I want this wrapping object over here. Okay, and for the wrapping object, if we select it, we can also translate the wrapping object using the X, Y, and Z keys, or Shift X, Y, and Z to go in the opposite direction. But with the wrapping object, we can also rotate it. So to rotate it, we'll just click Alt X, Alt Z, or Alt Y, and that will rotate it about the respective axes. And to go in the reverse direction, we just need to click Alt Shift X, Y, or Z. Okay. And if we rotate it around enough times, we can see that the muscle looks like it's getting deformed, or it's not wrapping around the right side of the wrapping object. So if that happens, we would just need to keep rotating the wrapping object until it's on the right side of the wrapping object like you want it to be on. Okay. And we can look down here at the lower left-hand corner of the MSMS window, and it'll give you the coordinate points and the angle that this wrapping object is at. And it's the same thing if you select on the muscle constraint point. It will also give you the coordinate points. And let's just recenter the image. So we can also rotate the joints in MSMS. So to do that, we're going to go to Model, and we're going to show joint sliders. And let's just open this a little bit. And if we click on one of the sliders and just drag it, we can see the joint, the corresponding joint, being moved in the 3D window. So each slider corresponds to 1 degree of freedom of the joint. And to edit the max or min angle that the joint can move to, we have to edit the properties of the corresponding joint. So to demonstrate, if we want to change the degrees, the max and min degrees of this joint, we would go to the Model Explorer, and we're going to open Joints, and we're going to click on the joint. We're going to go to Axes, and we're going to select the degree of freedom that it is assigned to. And we can change the min or max angle, and we can also set a default angle. So let's just change the min angle to, say, negative 120 degrees. And we can change the default angle to, let's just say, 90 degrees. And we can click Apply. Oh, sorry. You can't set it to 90 degrees because the max is 10 degrees. We're going to set it to negative 90 degrees. We're going to click OK. And we're going to click OK. So if we look in the motion slider, we can see that it's not updated yet. We would have to first close the joint sliders and open it again. And now we can slide it to negative 120 degrees, right? And in MSMS, we can also plot a curve of the anatomical data that we can use to compare with experimental data. So we're going to go to Model, Validation, Plot Anatomical Data. Okay, and we're going to select our X and Y axes. So let's just choose the fascial length. Let's select all of the muscles. And we can select one of the joints. Just need to click Add Curves. And we can see in the 3D window that the model is moving, collecting the data points. Okay, here's the curves. And we can also, if we only want to analyze certain curves, not the other ones, we can also select the ones that we do not want and we can remove it. And if we just want to start a new chart, we can clear everything. And we can select whichever one and add curves again. So this concludes tutorial 1, Viewing and Navigation.